My name is Heinrich Stöver. I am a professor at the Frankfurt University of Applied Sciences in Frankfurt in Germany. And I'm working on prison issues since many years. In the 80s of the last centuries, I was working in prison. And in the last 10, 20 years, I did some studies on prisoners. With regards to harm reduction, I would like to speak to you on the German side, on German topics. When I look through the list of harm reduction, I can see that the landscape in German prisons is very diverse. And this is due to the heterogeneity of the federal state of Germany, because there are huge differences between North and South and East and West. So, for instance, when it comes to the provision of condoms, for instance, in some of the 16 states of Germany, condoms are provided very openly in several settings, in several corners of the prison. In some states in the north and in the west, but condoms are hardly available in, for instance, southern German states in Bavaria or in eastern states, where in Bavaria, for instance, you have to go to the doctor, and the doctor will prescribe you condoms. So in other places, as I said, in northern Germany, condoms can be easily took from the social worker or the health unit, or from the priest or the pastor, or even from the kitchen. You can buy them, of course, but you can get them for free elsewhere. When it comes to opiate substitution treatment, again, this is very diverse. In total, I can say that only 2,400 of probably 25,000 prisoners get access to opiate substitution treatment. And this is covering 10% of those in need of this treatment, while in the community we are able to cover almost 50%. So we see here a double discrimination. People are put into prison because they are drug dependent, they are seriously ill. And second, they do not benefit from the progress of opiate substitution treatment, not in that way as they did when they were free in the community. A third issue is needle exchange programs in prison. This is only possible in 1 out of 180 prisons in Germany. In a women's prison in Berlin, we will have this provision where women can have access to clean syringes via automats, via 5 automats which are installed in the prison setting. But only, let's say, 46 prisoners, female prisoners, out of in total 61,000 prisoners, men and women together in Germany, have access to this measure, which we outside found to be essential to, let's say, to fill the hole on access to prevention issues with regards to a successful combat of HIV in the outside. So we see that, let's say, 2 strategies which have been regarded as very, very successful in reducing the number of HIV infections in the risk group of drug users are not, let's say, applied completely in the prison setting. This is opiate substitution treatment and condoms and needle exchange. So this is very diverse throughout Germany. But lacking behind what is recommended by the international bodies, or what is recommendable due to the results we have outside in the community. In the community, only 3 out of 100 new HIV infections are due to the transmission route of intravenous drug use. So we were very, very successful outside, but are not successful inside, where still infections do happen with hepatitis C or hepatitis B or HIV. And this is, of course, not a good example of the introduction of WHO-based recommendations. The last thing I would like to mention, which is also a harm reduction measure, is the provision of naloxone. We know several countries where at the end of the sentence, naloxone kit and a training before is given out. We have none of these examples in German prisons. So it would be good if prisoners, let's say 6 weeks before release, get a training on the overdose kit, on the overdose issue, and are able to use naloxone, for instance, either as a spray or as a subcutaneous injection, and then get the kit on the day where they're released. The background is that in the first 48 hours or 72 hours after release, prisoners usually relapse to heroin use again. But they are no longer opiate tolerant, so they easily die. And we see from figures that the rate of overdose after release from prison is partly 40 to 60 times higher than a comparable group. So this is a risk situation, a risk scenario, which we very urgently have to respond to, and unfortunately this is not being done in any of the prisons. In total, the major HIV-related or drug-related response we are having in almost all prisons is information, education, and communication for the prisoners, saying basically don't use drugs while in prison. But this is, let's say, only an appellative, an appellation to the prisoners. We know that drug dependence is a chronically relapsing phenomenon. So people get into heroin use again, and then with the results of getting new infections or getting even an overdose inside prison or early after release. So we have to do more than only delivering information and education. Thank you.